Anyone who ever says I can't say anything positive about Marvel, well, you just show them this video because this is some positive news for them in that the projections for the box office on the Marvels have actually improved from the last time they were reported from Box Office Pro. It was initially saying it was going to make around $50 to $75 million domestically on its opening weekend. And now those projections have been adjusted to $75 to $80 million domestically. So yeah, good on them. But unfortunately, that is where the good news ends with this one, because it's been reported now that Brie Larson is wanting to leave the character after this movie. And this is an article from Comic Book Resources. Brie Larson reportedly disillusioned with Captain Marvel following online comments. And this is coming from that novel that went out about the MCU. Here it is. An excerpt from the MCU, The Reign of Marvel Studios. Book reveals Larson grew disillusioned with playing Captain Marvel after receiving online attacks and abuse following the acclaimed eponymous movie. The claim, which was backed by one of the book's writers, Joanna Robinson, in a recent interview on the Watch podcast, suggests Larson has been considering giving up the role as Carol Danvers for some time. So, I mean, that's not really a good sign when you have a movie that's supposed to be coming out within just a few weeks, and you have the lead actress in that, or it's being reported that the lead actress in that is wanting to leave the whole studio. And they were saying like a lot of this is from just the backlash that she got for the character. And I just want to point out, though, a lot of the backlash is really just because of comments that she made before the movie actually started. I mean, you got to understand, this is something that she was being so sheltered and so protected prior to this. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes literally changed how their site functions in order to try to protect the image of this movie. And for all the good it did, I mean, you look at this at 45% on Rotten Tomatoes amongst fans. Like, okay, yeah, it didn't go. Where's Top Critics? So yeah, Top Critics is less than that, but yeah, 45% amongst fans. I mean, that's just terrible news. And it was really stupid the way they actually changed the way the site functioned, because for people who don't remember, Rotten Tomatoes had a function on it where people could actually select whether they wanted to see a movie or whether they didn't want to see a movie. And a lot of people were going on here saying like, yeah, we don't want to see this. And it was giving it like kind of a bad look prior to it. So like, oh, it's being review bombed. That's not review bombing it. That's just saying using the site's function for the way it's supposed to be used. And it just so happened that she was a very unpopular character or an unpopular actress, so that people were just more driven to actually go on here and say like, yeah, they didn't want to do it. But yeah, Rotten Tomatoes took that function off of that just to protect her, but it didn't really matter because the movie still grossed over $1 billion globally, and they're trying to use that as an excuse like, oh, you see, it was just a vocal minority of guys who were review bombing it and stuff like that. But I mean, never mind the fact that this was also the height of Marvel movies and when the first one came out, and people just kind of thought that this was required viewing in order to watch Endgame because, you know, Infinity War set it up that way, so that's probably the reason why it did so well. But I mean, that's not really to be expected from this one, because even though the box office estimates have been adjusted, it still needs to make probably $700 to $800 million domestic, or not domestically. Well, that'd be ridiculous. No, but no, it needs to make $700 to $800 million globally in order to be considered a success, because this is one of the highest grossing, or not the highest grossing. Wow, I am just off today. No, this is one of the most expensive Marvel movies that they made. I think the only ones that are actually more expensive are Age of Ultron, Infinity War, and Endgame. So all three of those are Avengers movies. So the last three Avengers movies are the only ones more expensive than this one. Never mind the fact that this is also the shortest running time for a Marvel movie, which is ridiculous. I mean, I haven't done the math on this, but like how much they actually spent per minute on this movie. I mean, it's just insane. But yeah, kind of going back to this whole thing about Brie Larson wanting to leave. I mean, it's just not really helping the image of this movie or help marketing it, sort of thing, because everyone knows, or she knows, she's an unpopular character within the MCU. I mean, she's even said as much, like on interview. There's that famous one where they're asking her about continuing playing the character, and she says like, "What, does anyone want me to do it anymore?" And it's like, she knows she's not a popular character. I mean, I think she was, I don't know if this movie is going to kind of be a send-off for her, which isn't a good sign for Marvel as a whole, because following the events of Endgame, they were trying to set it up where Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, and Black Panther were basically going to be like the faces of the MCU moving forward, because you already lost Iron Man, you lost Captain America, so they're like, we need to have like a new team kind of take up the mantle, and those are the ones that are supposed to be, well, they lose Spider-Man's rights to Sony. Chadwick Boseman, his untimely passing, kind of lost Black Panther for them. And now you have Captain Marvel wanting to leave this too because she doesn't like playing the character, doesn't like the backlash that she gets for playing this character. So, I mean, what does that really leave Marvel? I mean, it's not a ton. So, I mean, even if the box office projections have adjusted to give it slightly more positive attention, so to speak, it's still not, I don't think it's going to be enough to save this. And I really don't know what they're going to do with the future of the MCU. I mean, they really need to take a step back and try to figure out what they're doing, because everything that they've had since the events of Endgame has basically felt like them throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. And so far they've come up with nothing. And I don't really know what they're going to do in the future to try to salvage this. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. And if you like this video, make sure you click that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest news. Thank you.